I want to save my soul.
Right, we are with Aftershoot with Justin. Are you the founder of the company?
Yep, I'm co-founder of the company.
Brilliant. Pleasure to meet you. Tell us all about your product. It sounds really interesting, especially with like all the recent revelations from the generating photos to even videos. This is AI as well, you mentioned, right? Tell me, what do you actually do? How do you work? How does your software work?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're AI culling with AI editing. So first thing we do is we go through a user's photos. We essentially cluster the similar images together. We look at things like composition, lighting, emotion, open and closed eyes, focus, and then suggest the best images for users to start editing. Then what we actually do is we learn their editing style, or we have 28 different pre-built styles, and we'll be able to take their images from a RAW image or a JPEG image to a finalized photo with the press of a button.
Okay, so you mentioned like open and closed eyes. Does it just pick the right photos, or does it actually open the eyes?
So it just picks the right photos. So oftentimes a photographer is going to be looking at, having intentional closed eyes. We'll pick that intentional closed eye photo as a select, and then we'll also pick the version where the eyes are open. So they get a nice variety of candid, uncandid, pose photos. They have all the different varieties, and they're all selected for us.
So how much actual input do I have as a photographer into the process? So you mentioned that it learns my style. So how does that work? So do I just upload like photos before and after to it, or do I edit in it like I would in Photoshop or Lightroom, or how does that work?
Great question. So for the culling portion, we learn as you make changes. So you basically open up Aftershoot. You say, I want to start culling. You tell it what type of session it is, as there's different algorithms for every session. So a wedding will have a different algorithm than a headshot session would. And so what it'll do is it'll suggest those images for you. Then you have full control. So you can swap, add, reject, change any of the decisions that the AI made, and the AI will get smarter and learn how to cull more like you over time. For the editing portion, we look for previously edited images in Capture One or Lightroom. So you would upload those files to our server. We build your own magical unicorn, as we call it, and we send it back down to your computer. So it just needs to be able to see some before and afters in different conditions, so it understands how you would edit the photos inside of your editing software.
Okay. So where does the photos from, let's say, Lightroom, do you pick them up from Lightroom or from my computer as a folder, for example? How does that?
So you'll connect that Lightroom catalog, and that Lightroom catalog will come to us. So from that Lightroom catalog, the AI actually looks at the photo. So we'll look at the actual image that you took. We'll see what it looked like before. We'll see what it looked like after, and we'll see all the adjustments you made to get from A to B. And it's really helpful because it also picks up on things like whether you used a bounce flash, a direct flash, whether it's sunny, cloudy, indoors, outdoors, fluorescent lighting. It picks up on all of these things by actually seeing the image.
Okay, so what actually happens with photos that the AI didn't pick? So they're not deleted, are they?
Correct, they're not deleted, they're still there. You can swap, add, change all of the images, and there's a beautiful, nice layout. We pull out all the key faces inside of an image, show you whether the eyes are open, closed, if the face is in focus or not, but they're all there, so you don't miss out on anything. We do actually select one of everything as well. So if you took 3 photos and they were all out of focus, we still suggest one of those out of focus photos because we don't know if it's creative. If you were doing that kind of blurry trend of photos, we want to make sure you have one of everything, and it's up to you, the user, to finalize it.
It's really important, especially for someone who knows they may do something creative like this. You may want closed eyes, you may want blurry the photo, or you may want like the background instead of the actual couple that's in focus. So yeah, definitely that's interesting. But what really kind of caught my ear was the way that you actually operate between different pieces of software. So what does it connect to?
Yeah, so currently we're we have our own independent culling software. So all the files are created on that software. You're able to review and adapt. So instead of looking at raw images, you're looking at the previews. So it makes culling a lot quicker. And then we can then edit your files from Lightroom or Capture One. So we're the only AI software that's working in Capture One currently as well.
Okay. And how heavy is it for my computer?
So it's not very taxing on a computer. So if you can run Lightroom, you can run Aftershoot on your computer as well. And one of the cool things about Aftershoot is actually a local software. So beyond training your own AI style, everything else happens locally. So there's no internet required. All the images stay on your computer, so you don't have to worry about, anything going off to some server somewhere. It's all staying right on your machine.
So what you're saying is it learns from my photos. So if I upload, let's say 10 different photo shoots, and let's say each one is different, what's going to happen with the software? How will it like understand my style if each one is different?
So what it's going to do, it's going to learn the consistent patterns that you have as a photographer. So it's going to say, okay, in cloudy conditions, you generally white balance a little bit warmer, you bring your shadows up, your highlights down. It's going to pick up on all of those different things and then put that all together and then come up with its own data set. So it knows when it sees an image that looks like this in the cloudy condition, it should look like this by the end of it.
Okay, so it recognizes the condition on the photo. It obviously sees the metadata, so it understands what was actually done to the photo. So what about, let's say, a beginner photographer? If I have two cameras and they, for whatever reason, they're set up incorrectly, so one is brighter, one is darker, how would that kind of come up on your software? Will it fix it for me, or how does that work?
That's one of the coolest things, is that it works at making a consistent set of images. So if I have one that's overexposed and one that's underexposed, it's going to bring down the overexposed image in exposure, and it's going to bring up the exposure on the underexposed one. So essentially creating a nice even data set that looks naturally but simply the same.
Okay, so talk me through the actual process. So I get my photos, I upload them to your software or to Lightroom first?
So for the training process for your profile, you upload it to our software after it's already edited in Lightroom. But to actually run the edits, it's all local. So all we need to do is see the Lightroom catalog. So you close your Lightroom catalog, connect it to our software, you click a button, and then a few minutes later, you have all of your edited images inside of Lightroom.
Oh wow, okay. So is this all happening in the background? I can just come back to it later, or does it need any input on the way?
Correct, it all happens in the background. So you simply just tell it that you want it to run on this catalog, and you can tell it you want specific images out of the catalog to be edited or collections. You can direct it where you want it to go. You click the button, and then honestly, you don't have to wait too long. About 100 images takes about a minute.
Wow, that's fast.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and this is obviously after learning my style. Okay. And you mentioned 28 inbuilt styles?
Correct. We have 28 different AI profiles that are inside of the app. We have what we call a marketplace, our AI marketplace. These are styles that we created using our own data sets. And then we also have two special profiles. So we have some creators. It's 100% profit towards the creators. They built these styles, and then they're selling them in our marketplace as well.
So how much control do I have in terms of how many styles can I have on my photos? So let's say I'm shooting, I don't know, boudoir and weddings and two different things. Can I have different styles for each, or does it just do it automatically because I've done different photo shoots like this in the past?
So you'd have different settings for, or different profiles for each. So you can have up to 5 different AI profiles in the included max plan. So you're able to say I have a boudoir profile, a wedding profile, a portrait profile.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, we don't recommend, if you have a significantly different style from one type of session to another, we don't recommend putting them together because it can kind of confuse the AI. It's not looking at per se a boudoir photo and saying this is boudoir. It's looking more at where is the light coming from, what quality of the light is, what does the image look like itself.
Okay. And what AI do you use, may I ask?
It's all custom, so everything's built from inside Aftershoot. So all of our models and everything, it's all internal.
Brilliant. And how long did it take you to teach it what it does?
So it was a long process. I mean, we're still teaching it. We're always improving it, making new models, adding extra models to it. Our company, we started, the idea was in 2019. Our first iteration was November 2020, and we went public later in 2021. So.
Wow, okay. That's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Okay, well done. Sounds
Lots of work.
Sounds like very interesting product. I'd love to show it to my viewers if that's possible in the future.
Absolutely.
But yeah, absolutely, it's a great product. It sounds like, from what I hear over here, sounds like it can automate everything apart from shooting itself. So as soon as you come up with something that can shoot for me.
No, we don't want to take that away from you. The goal. So our goal here at Aftershoot, we really want to make sure that we're giving photographers more time behind the camera. So our main goal here is a lot of the tasks we do as editors, you apply a preset, you batch sync it, you do all of these things. AI can do a better job and do it faster. So we want to make sure we do that. For me as a wedding photographer, I still shoot weddings even with the company. I do about 20 weddings a year. It takes me about 15 to 18, maybe 19 hours doing it manually. I'm down to 3 hours, start to finish, culling and editing a wedding.
Wow.
So.
Okay, yeah. Currently for me, it's me and my wife, both of us, 2 days.
Yes.
So, you know.
You'll have it done by lunchtime once you start using
Wow,
Aftershoot.
okay, that sounds like a lot. I'll have loads of time to do other stuff
Yeah,
and more money.
absolutely.
So it sounds like an interesting idea.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
it was
you. I
an absolute
appreciate it.
pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely.